Welcome to the Survivor's Chair podcast, a podcast where we break down our stories and our trauma, understanding how they have impacted our career and our life. This is a place where we break free from shame, own our truth, and step into our power, one story at a time. Hi, I'm Kim, an adoptee, a former foster youth, hairstylist, salon owner, breast cancer, and complex trauma survivor. So join us, pull up a chair, in this no sugarcoating, no holding back, honest conversation about healing and success. Well, hello, my friends, and welcome to episode 16 of the Survivor's Chair podcast. This is a little different episode. I recorded something for this episode and it just didn't feel right. So I went into my archives and I dug out a live that I had done. And it just feels fitting. It's about people pleasing. It's about sacrificing your own wants and needs based on the happiness of other people and not make other people uncomfortable. It's about my marriage and how I almost stayed married and sacrificed my life because I didn't want to hurt people. I didn't want to not be liked. I started a Facebook group probably in 2020. And this Facebook group was a safe place for me to read portions of my books. What I realized is that this space that I created for myself. And I created it to avoid podcasts, to avoid being really out there in the public talking about my stuff. This Facebook group was a contained, safe space for me. And the people who showed up were supportive and caring and loving, and it was such a great space. But I decided that it's time to bring some of these things out. And what I have written back then in 2020, 2021, when this live came out, is very different now, but the lesson is still the same. So I decided to share it. I edited it as best as I could. It might sound a little clunky. Just remember it was a live and we were bantering back and forth with conversation, but I did try to take a lot of that out. So it might sound a little clunky, but like I said, the importance is not the perfection of the outcome of the content. It's the lesson behind the words. So I hope you enjoy this episode. I'd love to hear what you thought about it. And thanks for being here and enjoy. So this one is about sacrifice. It's about people pleasing. It's about marriage. I don't know about you guys, but this was definitely me. Like I went through my entire life, and I still struggle with this very much so, basing my decisions on other people's needs and wants. Because I feel like for some reason I'm like tough, I can take it. I can take all the pain and the suffering and the unhappiness. I can take all that stuff. Why should anybody else have to take it? I'll take it on. It makes no sense. And I don't know if it's my healing process, getting older, over 50, learning, growing, what it is, but I am just not willing to do that anymore. So this is all about sacrifice and people pleasing, but it has to do with marriage, my marriage. I think of the things that I sacrificed that I really didn't want to do. Like how many things did we do that we didn't really want to do because you felt like you had to, or you felt like society, even getting divorced was, God, that was awful for me. That was awful. Because I felt like I was disappointing the world, and the image everybody had of me that I created, this wonderful marriage, like everybody's gonna know. Most people were surprised that I got divorced. I thought you guys were great. No, I don't know what it was, but it's that worthiness. I can't say I don't know what it was. It's the worthiness that you don't feel worthy of having your needs met or being happy or getting things that you deserved.
So you take the hits. You're like, I'm not worth it anyway. So I'm good. I know how to be unhappy. Like that's our comfort zone that I talk about all the time in the book. You're so comfortable in your crap and your yucky stuff that you just don't even know any different. Like you don't even know what it's like to be happy. And then, you start growing and working on yourself and doing all the things that you have to do. And then you get this little like taste of happiness and you're like, oh my God, I had no idea. I had no idea what I was missing. So this little ditty I got for you folks today is about, it's short, it's not as long as the other ones, but it's really about pleasing and sacrifice. It's about doing things that you don't want to do because you're trying to please other people. But this was like a major thing. But I didn't really know I was, making other people happy. I thought it was really what it was supposed to be doing, and I'm going to tell you why. So why I got married in the first place, despite knowing deep in my gut that things weren't as they should be, was that I was ready. I was ready to open the door of love and commitment that I had welded shut my entire life. I was never quite ready to pry that door open until then. This was huge progress for me. I saw this progress of opening to love as an end to my awakening and growth. Little did I know, yes, I was opening a door, but that door was only slightly ajar, and I soon realized I had many more doors that needed to be opened. The doors I hadn't opened yet, I didn't want to, nor was I ready to open them. I could take pain and sacrifice, no problem. I could live a life less than what I wanted or deserved because I felt that's what I was supposed to do. It was okay for me to feel the pain of unhappiness just so everyone around me wouldn't feel uncomfortable or feel any pain themselves. I was willing to feel unhappy for my entire life just so one person wouldn't feel a minute of unhappiness. Anybody relate to that one? Why? Why is it that I felt that I needed to stay married and be in an unhappy marriage for the rest of my life just so I wouldn't rock the boat of anybody else's life? There's so much wrapped into that because you're worried about what other people think of you, because that's wrapped into your self-worth too, and your self-esteem and all of those things. So you don't want to be unhappy. I would hold on to all that pain and all that unhappiness so that one person wouldn't feel an iota of pain or uncomfortable moments in their life. It's so crazy when I think about it. And honestly, and there's a whole portion of it, of my divorce, in the book, and it's not bad. It's nothing against him at all. He definitely unlocked some doors for me that were locked up tight, and honestly, I mean, probably 2 weeks into it, we probably shouldn't have got married. I mean, but he was so different from everybody that I had ever dated. He was not abusive. He was fun. He let me be me, but it wasn't what I needed for the rest of my life. But I would have, but I continued working on myself, and basically we were married for less than 5 years, and we spent 4.5 of those years trying to figure it out in counseling and all of those things. And when we got up to the 5-year mark, I was like, we could spend another 5 years working on this and it might work out, right? But the difference was I wasn't willing to give up another 5 years. I'm just not willing to give up that time anymore. And so I made the decision to get divorced. Did not do it in a healthy way. I did not go about it the right way. I did not do it the right way. I did not communicate. It takes two people, 2 stories, and I was not perfect. That was so hard. And I literally, when I got divorced, I hid for like 6 months. Well, first off, I drank myself to death for 6 months because I couldn't deal with all the stuff that was going on. And I just hid, but yet I still had to go to work. I still had to see everybody. And it was just like this shame and the embarrassment and like all of the stuff that came with it. For me, it was easier just to stay and avoid all those yucky feelings of, not being perfect and shameful. That was my awakening, shall we say, just a little bit, not much. I thought it was like, oh, I'm all set now. I don't have to do any more work. funny one. I'm still doing work. But I thought like, okay, I'm never going to be a people pleaser again. Now, mind you, there is some areas in my life that has come in very handy. And that has been my love for my job and the love for people I work with. I get into the leadership piece of how that was damaging in that area too, because I tried so hard to please people that worked for me that shouldn't have been there. You know, they shouldn't have been there. I should have let them go years before they left, you know, but I didn't. Kept like a bad relationship, you know, I just kept trying to make them happy, or I was just getting bitter and resentful as time went on, which is what happened in my marriage. I got so bitter and so resentful that he was making me unhappy and have an unhappy life, when realistically it's my choice to be there and to stay, but I didn't have the communication skills or the confrontation skills. Both of us were absolutely horrid at communication. Me, I always wanted to sit and talk about everything, and he wanted to like joke about everything. So, and I didn't mind that. I was like, okay, perfect. We can diffuse this and move on. You know, I didn't have to go through all those uncomfortable feelings. The sad part about it is you're willing to sacrifice something as important as your whole entire life to not upset another person. Why? Why are we willing to give up so much? Why are we willing to give our power up to other people? Why are we willing to do that? Most people get really bitter and angry at their exes. I don't feel that way at all, because there's so many things that he opened me up to that have been good things in my life. So I can't say that at all. I don't think I had trouble being alone. I liked being alone. I think it was harder for me to be in a relationship, to be honest. To have that commitment made me fearful to be in a commitment, because then I would have to trust, which was, let's go on about that. I could go on about that till the cows come home too. I had done a lot of work already, and I really thought I was there. I was still in therapy. I was still going to my group too, so I was still going twice a week. And I remember talking about the fact that I was ready. Like, I was ready to open myself up and to expose myself to love, which felt so scary to me, like so scary. That vulnerability with somebody, scary. But I still didn't get there because I knew it wasn't right. It was different from everything I had known, but it still wasn't right. The sacrifice and the people pleasing and the willingness to just give it all away so somebody else doesn't feel uncomfortable. You know, like having the hard conversations, nobody likes those. Nobody. You know, it's almost like public speaking. You know, your heart starts to race, you get nervous, you get all sweaty when you have to have that hard conversation, and you know you're going to hurt somebody's feelings. Somebody's going to be hurt by the truth or hurt by what you have to say. I mean, that's some hard stuff right there. I would like to avoid it. I still would like to avoid it, but you can't. I would communicate on the defense. You know, I would instantly attack. That is the one thing that I still have to work on, is not get my guard up when people want to talk to me about me. I have to really kind of settle into it. That's hard stuff to hear. But it's so good to hear, because you do somebody a disservice if you don't share with them. I've learned in the leadership part of my career that if you don't share with them the things that they have to work on or recognize, you're doing them a disservice, so they can't grow. Like, you're actually holding them back so they can't grow. Like a parent, you want to grow confident people. It's the same thing at work. It's not gonna work for everybody. You know, compromise in relationships are everything. Sometimes it's 70-30. I don't think it's ever 50-50. Sometimes it's 80-20. You have to ebb and flow in a relationship, but that full-on sacrifice, you can feel it in your gut. You can feel it in your belly. It's uncomfortable. I mean, to give up something that is so, like, to your core, you know it's what you want and deserve, but you don't, because you don't want to upset somebody else. You don't want to rock the boat. You don't want to make them uncomfortable. but yet you're uncomfortable and it's okay. It's crazy. I read this stuff and I don't know who this girl is, but yet I can really relate to her. She's still there. You know what I mean? Like I would never be that person again, but I understand now why. Like why? You know, that worthiness, that self-esteem, go way back to my adoption stuff, like not feeling wanted, not feeling lovable, that stuff that was just ingrained in my every blood vessel in my body. It was just in me that's what I was worth. That's the people pleaser. Really handy in work until I kept that team member on way longer than I should have, trying to make them happy, give them what they want, sacrificing the business to give. I would go into work at 7:30 on a Saturday morning, and I would work until 7, 8 o'clock at night because I didn't want to say no to anybody. I killed myself. It takes a different shape and form. I love giving back. It's different. It's not a taking now, you know, because you do end up surrounding yourself with the takers. The people pleasers are surrounded by the takers. And I'm always fascinated by the takers. Like how they can just do that and just keep taking. And they're okay with it. And as long as you're giving, they're going to take. And the second that you stop giving, they're gone. They disappear. I have learned that it's okay to say no, first off. And it's okay to say no to be able to do the things that are really important to me. Like there's so many times that I would say yes and I'd be like, ugh, like the double commitment because they don't want to say no to somebody. And then when it comes up, now they've got two places and they have to say no to somebody and it gets harder. Instead of saying like, I would love to, but I can't, I'm sorry. It's not a definite yes, it's a no. And how many times have you said, oh, let me think about it? Because you don't want to hurt their feelings right then and there. You know, why has the word no got such a bad rap? No doesn't mean that you don't like somebody. It doesn't mean that you don't want to be around them. It doesn't mean that you hate them. It doesn't mean anything. It just means no. I think that if we say no, they won't like us anymore. That's tied into our own self-worth. Like we feel like you have to say yes to everybody because if not, you're going to be discarded or, you know, they're not going to want to be around you anymore or they're just not going to like you or they're going to be mad at you. Like, and that's the other thing, like who cares if somebody's mad at you? Who cares? Right? What are they really mad at? So yeah, that's tied into our own self-worth. And trust me, I have been there. Let me give everybody in the world everything they've ever needed or wanted just so you still like me. It blows me away when I think about it. What I have done, what I have given people. People pleasing is all about self-worth. That's what I have to say about that. I think this person that I was willing to give up her whole entire life so that one person wouldn't be unhappy or uncomfortable. I don't know who that person is anymore. There's takers and there's givers. And you stop giving, the takers disappear because they're not getting what they want from you anymore. So you have to learn to figure out who deserves that. You're not giving in hopes to be liked or hopes to be wanted and stuff like that. You're giving because you want to. Nobody's taking from me anymore. That's the difference. Like I said, once you stop giving, the takers are gone. History. They don't even remember your name. The more you know, the more you grow. I think the more you focus on yourself and not focus on other people, the better everything becomes. The people around you, things around you, it becomes a more peaceful and content life when you're actually living your true self and you've learned more about yourself than you ever thought was in there, and still learning. Like that's the thing. It's that education part of learning about yourself is never over because you get to the next version of yourself, and then when you get there, you continually to grow and learn, and then you get to the next better version of yourself. Education doesn't hurt, that's for sure. There's a lot of stories out there of people who didn't have any formal education and they are thriving. That's one of the things I think about. Like, what is it in people that makes them strive for more and for better more than other people? There's people who have way worse stories than mine, and they're light years of growth, personal growth, than maybe I'll ever see. And I wonder, like, that's when I get into that tool or fuel thing. People that just want to be martyrs and feel bad and poor me, this is what happened to me, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then it's a fuel. Well, you know what? This happened. Well, I'm going to prove the world wrong. People sitting in my chair telling me that adopted kids are bad seeds and there's nothing good about them. Listening to family members say, well, not really family. And then I would say my mother, people would always go like, wait, your biological mother? And I'm like, no, it's my mother that I lived with my whole life. But there's things that other people have gone through and done amazing things. But I think educating yourself on any level, you can never go wrong. Educate yourself on your craft, not so you can be the best in the neighborhood, so you have the knowledge, and more than knowledge comes the confidence, because the more you educate yourself, the more confident you become. That's just a fact. Education is never, ever, ever a bad thing, no matter what it is. When you really think about what you're sacrificing, and what is so bad about saying no? What is so bad about saying no? We're all afraid of the hard conversations, but you got to do it. Why are you willing to sacrifice? Like I said, that was when I got divorced. That was the first time that I was like, I can't, nor am I willing to give up another 5 years of my life trying to work it out. I didn't feel like it was going to work out where we were. I mean, we were married less than 5 years, and 4.5 years we were in counseling or trying to figure it out. That was kind of a no-brainer. Not that he was a bad man. He's not a bad man. He's not. He actually gave me a lot. And I look back at it, he gave me a lot. When you're a caretaker and when you're a giver, naturally, we tend to overgive and overcare to fill our own needs, really, our own self-worth, and whatever that is filling us with. We're trying to fill our cup with feeling good. That's such a huge part of it. Like when you really think about what it is you're trying to fill, trying to be liked, wanted, worthiness. I say this just to make you think a little differently. Hopefully you'll be like, wait a minute, is this something that I do? And if I do it, why do I do it? And it doesn't mean you're going to wake up tomorrow and you're going to stop doing everything and you're going to be like, no, I'm not doing this for you because I'm people pleasing to fill my own needs and self-worth. You might, I don't know, but you're probably not going to do that. But at the same time, just to think about what it is you really want out of life and how to get those things. What are the roadblocks? What are the people in your life that are telling you can't do something or you shouldn't do something? So, I am a giver, but I'm figuring out like how to give now the right way and not trying to fulfill something inside of me or nurture some part of me that hasn't been nurtured. Without the support of other people, we never get to where we're going. You can't do anything alone. It's not possible. You always need help. You always need guidance. You need a mentor. You need support. You never do anything alone. So thank you. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for tuning into the Survivor's Chair podcast. You can head over to my website, www.kimrussellpro.com. That's KIMRUSSELLPRO.com. You can catch up on my blogs. Follow me on social, on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, or TikTok. All the links will be in the show notes, and I'll see you next time in the Survivor's Chair.